welcome to another episode of Discussions with Davis. This is a special episode. We are sans Mark today, but I have two guests with me today. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Brittany.
And Christine.
We are the Moms of Chaos. we're three moms, autism moms, and we want to talk today about what it's like to be an autism mom and how it's different from normal kids. And you know, not everyone understands that, you know, kids with autism look like any other kid, but you can't always tell what's going on underneath the surface. So we want to talk a little bit about what it's like to be an autism mom, what our kids have to go through, what we have to go through, just to more educate everyone so they can maybe be a little bit more compassionate. Because we've all had those instances where we're in public and our kids decide to have a moment. And, you know, everyone who doesn't really know any different would just look at me like, well, they need to work on their discipline. You know, I'd take that kid and I'd do this to them. It's like, no, that doesn't work. Doesn't work at all. So.
Yeah, certainly not.
But anyway, a little background on us. We all met because all of our kids were in the same class last year. It was an autism specific class. And we were just hanging out, waiting for the kids to get dismissed or waiting for the teachers to say it's okay to take them in. And we just started talking. And it's like we're three completely different people, but we all clicked for some reason.
It's like we're all different and the same at the same time.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Because of the chaos.
Right?
Because of the chaos. We know about the chaos.
We raise it, we live it, we cause it.
And it's a pretty good, you know, panel across the three of us, because all of our kids are on like a different level, because there's so many different levels under the spectrum.
They are.
You know, I've mentioned Lily before, and she's a little bit more on the higher end of the spectrum. Christine, your daughter is more on the lower end, and Brittany, yours is like right in the middle.
Yep.
So it's kind of there's so much that's getting put under the umbrella of the autism spectrum. So it's hard to really specify, you know, one kid's going to do this, one kid's going to do that. So you have to really, you know, take into account that every day is going to be different.
And every child is different.
Every child is different. Yeah, what works for one child isn't going to work for another child. Like that.
Especially with the autistic.
Oh, yeah. And that's why I have so much respect for the teachers that teach the classes our kids are in.
Same.
Except for yours.
That's a whole nother session.
That's a whole nother session. One of them doesn't have the best teacher, but last year the teachers they had were fantastic. They were fantastic. And the teacher Lily's got now, and I think the teacher Lizzie has now is pretty good too.
Yeah.
So it's like they have far more patience than I do, but they're like, you know, at the end of the day, we send them home with you guys, so it's okay.
It gives us a break because we don't get things. We were not able to get anything done when they're home because they're right there. As soon as you clean something, nope.
Yep.
It's done. It's gone.
Yeah, you know, normal kids, you could say, you know, they'll be playing in their room on their tablets or whatever, and it's like you can do stuff while they're home. It's like you can't do that with autistic kids because they're like, they're constantly on you.
Yeah.
And as soon as you clean something, it's like whenever I clean Lily's room while she's at school, I take a picture so I can show Mark when he comes home that it was clean at one point today. Because by the time he gets home, it won't be clean anymore. Because she's like, I have room to play in here now. Whee! It's like everything's on the floor again. So that's why everything ends up in our living room.
It's the same thing at my house. Like, I wait until she goes to school. This way I can clean. And when she finally comes home, that's when I can actually relax because, hey, I know it's going to get destroyed, but it's okay. I can do the same thing again tomorrow.
Yeah. And, you know, going shopping with them is not easy, especially if you're by yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it was a lot easier when they fit in the cart.
Understatement.
Yeah. mine still tries, and I'm like, okay, fine. I'm just gonna pile stuff on top of you. You're where I can see you. You're not gonna run off if you're in there. So, but she's gonna be too big to do that before long. So, but yeah, it's always an adventure because you never know what's going on in their minds, and it makes it really hard to discipline them effectively, because I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I don't want to be too hard on Lily because I don't know if she can understand,
or if it'll affect her in the future. Yeah, because they forget. They're like goldfish. They forget things all the time, except for if it interests them, then it goes into that vault and with
never comes out.
Lizzie and your son, Brittany, it's a little harder for them because even though they're on the lower, like mid to lower range, it's a little more different because Lily understands.
To a certain point.
To a certain point. But with her son, Brittany's son, and my daughter, their grasp of speech is a little different. I mean, my daughter, she doesn't understand.
She's completely nonverbal.
There's no understanding in that kid.
I would say half the time Hakeem understands, but you could tell by his expressions, because he'll laugh about it. He'll do something and then he laughs and it's like, okay, you messed up. And then there's other times I feel the same. I'm not 100% sure if he knows what he did was wrong. So I try to approach it a different way and just say, okay, no, we're not doing that. Or that stops. That's not nice. Things like that. If it's repeated or if he does it in a worse way, then I'll take the next step. But a lot of times I try to give more warnings to him than I would my other boys.
Does the other boys feel like he gets special treatment because of
I believe they do at times. I believe they do at times, and we try to remind them each time, they bring it up to us. We're like, we're not treating him no different. It's just, he is special, and to him, he doesn't fully understand like you guys do, or, it takes a little longer for him to grasp it like you kids already know, so we have to give him more patience, more time to figure it out and understand it. But I try to treat them all the same. When one messes up, they get disciplined. How I do it may be a little different. I may give Hakeem a few more chances than I do the other two. But at the end of the day, they all get some type of, disciplinary action when they do wrong. If they do good, I try to reward them all. And the rewards may be a little different because they have different interests, but I try to do everything the same. If I discipline one, I'm going to do it to the others when they mess up. If I reward the others. Yeah,
that's got to be hard, having kids on both sides of the spectrum. You got the ones that are normal and the ones that are special. So,
it's a challenge, especially, there was, like when it comes to gifts on holidays, birthdays, there was a few my other ones couldn't get because of Hakeem. Nobody could get cars because Hakeem was so obsessed that it seriously would trigger a bad episode with him to the point he either wound up keeping the car toy that belonged to somebody else, or we had to hide it until things calmed down. And it got to the point I actually had to tell my kids, you can pick what you want as long as it's not cars. We have to agree on it because you know how Hakeem is. And so I usually let them get other things that they like. For a while we couldn't do Legos because small pieces, everything goes in the mouth. They want to eat it up the nose, in the ear. They missed out on that for a while. And we just recently started, doing that because he's not as bad as he was before with putting things in his mouth. He knows it's a toy.
That's good.
So it was hard on them, but we tried to always talk with them and get them to understand, why we have to do this. I know you love your brother. You want him to be safe, right? And then we're like, yeah. So sometimes we got to sacrifice what we want to need just to make sure that he's good, that he's safe. He won't do anything to harm himself.
That's good that your boys understand too. Yeah. So that helps a lot too. But yeah, with Lily, I know there are certain things that she'll understand. So I could say certain things to her, and it's like, okay, I know you know what that means, so now you're just doing it to be, disrespectful or, obstinate or whatever. So that's when, we'll start, we take things away from her instead of, yelling at her and stuff like that. So, and taking things away from her, especially if she watches you take it away. She does not like that at all. So.
None of them do.
Yeah.
So that's why I got to use that, and I use it as leverage. It's like, because she was having trouble at school, she just refused to do anything. She'd just sit there all day, and her teacher couldn't find anything to motivate her to do her work. So I was like, okay, fine, you don't get your princess dresses, or you don't get the Switch, or you don't get YouTube. She's like, oh, okay, I'll do it. But yeah, normally you yell at your kid, tell them, bring their grades up, or you're not going to get this, that, or the other, and you give them the warnings that normally they would need, normal kids usually get. But that doesn't work with us, because if they do hear us and they do understand us, they're going to forget
instantly. We can show them 1,000 times and they'll still forget.
Yeah.
Or they'll just be stubborn because they know they can get their way.
They are so stubborn. Very stubborn. Yeah, I tell Lily she gets her stubbornness from her Gigi, because my mom's stubborn, and she'll say she gets it from her mom, but my grandma is stubborn, yeah. So it all works out. But yeah, it takes a different way of looking at the world through the eyes of this kid. It's like you really got to try and understand.
And patience.
So much patience. And, it's hard on the kids when they lose control. Like if they have a meltdown or a temper tantrum or something like that. It's hard on them, and it's hard on us. And
especially when routine is just off.
Yes, routine is a big theme for these kids. And if you get somebody who doesn't understand that, and Mark, bless his heart, he's trying to help her. Like, he's like, she's not always going to have her routine. We got to take away or throw a wrench in her routine every now and then. It's like, no, honey, you can't do that. It's like, I know she's not always going to have her routine, but she's at an age right now where she can't handle it. Do that more when she's a teenager, So he's more of the tough love type thing. He's like, she needs to be able to deal with real world situations. Like, no, but she can't do that right now. And we need to wait till she's a little bit more mature, because he starts doing that, and I'm like, okay, both of you, it's like I'm treating both of them like kids. You go over there, you go over there. Just don't talk to each other. And it's like, Lily, go to your room. Mark, go sit over there, say nothing.
That sounds like me with all the boys. Send them in different areas.
I'm mom and dad to my daughter, and with her, I do test the limits a little bit sometimes. And
well, you have to.
A few weeks ago, it really got me in the eye.
Quite literally.
But testing the limits can actually show where your kid or child is able to go next. And sometimes testing it does help, but doing it all the time before they're ready, it leads to a black eye.
Well, also, too, I mean, these kids, I know with Lily, I don't give her enough credit. It's like, I know she's capable of more than what I try and, I'll try and help her. It's like, no, she could do it on her own. It's like, and a lot of times she'll surprise me. It's like, since when could you do that? It's like when she started reading, like she'd come home and she started reading like the billboards as we were like driving down the street. It's like, you can read? Since when?
I've had moments like that with Hakeem.
Yeah, because when we pick up the kids from school, you ask them, what did you do today? They just say nothing. They don't understand the question. They don't know what they're supposed to tell you. So,
like, what did you learn?
Yeah.
And they just stare at you in the face like, what did you say?
Or Lily will just say, yeah, to whatever you say to her. It's like, did you read a book in class today? Yeah. Did you dissect a frog today in class? Yeah.
With Hakeem, the most you get out of him is, you have a good day? Good day.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Anytime you try to ask anything else, he's just like, nope. No.
Yeah, like yesterday, we were, when you picked Hakeem up, I kind of got down to his level and was like, hi, Hakeem, did you have a good day? And he was just like staring at me straight in my eyes. And I was like, I feel like that was the first time he actually saw me.
I think so.
He's like, he knows there's always been this person here, but he like saw me and noticed me. I was like, wow.
Yep. He finally put the face to your name.
But yeah, good day. It's like, okay, you gonna be a good boy for mama? Yeah. He's such a sweetie.
I know, I've been teaching Lizzie lately that when it's time to go home, when I pick her up from school, I'll ask her, where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? Until she tells me, we are going home. I'll keep repeating myself because she knows that I want the answer of we are going home. And she knows to do it because after usually the second time she says, we are going home. I'm like, yay!
Say, and it's a sentence.
Yes.
Every sentence we get out of our kids is a triumph.
Yes.
And I've made this clear to everybody, including you ladies. Even if she says a sentence with tons of curse words, I do not care because it's still a sentence.
Right.
Yeah.
It
still
is
communicate.
words. They are words. Those are a miracle for me.
Yeah, every word that comes out of her mouth,
Yeah.
well, especially hers, is a triumph.
Like, I know she can read. She can say the words, she can read, but her processing sentences on her own, it takes a lot of energy for her, and
Oh yeah.
it is not a pretty picture when she's trying.
Oh, it's so heartbreaking because you know they're frustrated,
Yeah.
and you want to try and help
And
them.
then you get frustrated, and
Yeah.
then it frustrates them even more. 'Cause it's a wild ride, and for her to say one whole sentence that we are going home, it melted my heart.
Oh, I bet. You probably went somewhere and cried for like 10 minutes.
Oh,
You crying now thinking about it.
no, probably just a little tear here and there, but never a cry.
The first time Lily said a full sentence to me of something that she wanted, it's like, it was just, I want some crackers. And I was like, you just processed a thought. You verbalized a thought you had. That's never happened before.
Proud mom moments, man.
Yeah,
I love them. When even if it's not my kid, that does it. It could be someone else's kid, and I'm proud for them, because I know the struggle. How hard it is for them to grasp things like normal kids would, and there's only so much you could do to help them get to that point too in life. And it's like, you fighting for them to help them get through life, but at the same time, it's going to be a struggle, and it's like there's nothing you could really do about that other than to be there and just keep going and keep supporting and doing what you can.
Yeah.
And to see those moments, even though they're small, it's like,
Yeah.
a big thing. It's like graduation in your mind and heart,
And that's one of the things that I try to tell people, including my own family, who just lack the imagination to realize, hey, maybe she's right, is us moms, because our children are autistic, we have to wait longer.
Yeah.
We wait longer. I've waited 4 years before before my daughter said her first word, cookie. That was it. My little Angelica, but cookie. And it's just those small steps are the biggest steps because we have to wait longer.
Yeah.
It's not like a person raising their child who function normally. They see the step and they're like, "Oh my God, you're walking at a year old. Perfect." We sit there, and even though they're walking, running, everything on time, we sit there and we wait for that first word. That first word is the biggest. It's the most special.
Yeah.
And you remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Lily was 3.5 when she was diagnosed, and by that time she hadn't said any words yet, and that's why her doctor went and sent us to CVRC to get her checked out. And I when it came back that she was autistic, and I was just like, I can't wait for the day when I hear you say mommy. And when that day finally came, I cried. It's I couldn't help it. I cried. I was so happy. I was like, I finally got to hear you say mommy.
With Hakeem, he was actually, I noticed his early on because of the fact I had other kids, that progressed, normally from infant to, toddler kid, Hakeem was behind on everything. Holding his head up, being able to roll over, being able to crawl, walk, all that. He was behind on everything. and I would talk to his family, my family, his dad's family, sorry, and my family about it, like I used something's wrong, something's different, even though there was nothing really wrong with him. It's just, I wanted them to see he's not like the other kids,
Yeah.
And they said, oh, he's fine, do things in his own time. I was like, something is different about him, because I've watched 2 other kids go through the stages, and they were either ahead or on time, with different things. He was behind on everything. And so every moment, like you said, that he finally held his head up, even though it was like maybe a month or 2 later than the normal kid, or when he finally crawled, and he can crawl to his siblings to play, that was a touching moment for me, because, he couldn't do it before, and everybody else moving around playing. And, his twin, who, they share a day with, he would crawl to Hakeem, because Hakeem be in his chair because he couldn't do it yet. And he would just, interact with him. And so every time he finally passed a stage in his life, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And
it's something a lot of parents take for granted, I guess.
Yeah. And we have to wait longer for it, and it's challenging. And then...
But it makes it that much more special when they actually overcome that little obstacle that they have.
Yeah,
it's like they're fighting a battle, and they started the day they were born, And it's like each time they succeed in something, it's like they won that battle and then move on to the next, And that's how I see it for him, It's like a fight that he's doing, because everything is hard for them until they finally get it. And then they're like, okay, now you're around the... like how normal kids are, they learned it, now you got it. And then they got to fight the next fight with the next thing, whether it's reading, writing, talking, each thing is like a battle to them. And I love it when they win. I love it when they get there, and I love when they get the support from non-family, friends, teachers, other people. And it is challenging when they're out in public, because you get a lot of judgmental people. You get the looks, and you could just see what's going on in their head, or you get people that make comments to somebody else next to you, and you catch it. We've had this happen many times.
Same.
And it's like, okay, you don't understand the full situation, so one, don't comment on it, And if you're concerned about something, then ask the parents, is he okay? What's going on, And then we can explain it to you. Because I understand not everybody knows what autism is. Like, I didn't know anything about this until I had Hakeem.
Yeah,
and I had to learn it with him. And so, I could have been judgmental in the past also. And then now that I know about it, and I see a situation with another person, I'm like, Lord, help that parent and child get through the day, finish what they're doing, get home. And, I'm more understanding now.
Yeah, same here.
And... being out in public with them, it's hard, because when they have they fits, which, most people think, oh, it's like little tantrums, where they cry because they, whatever,
They didn't get their way, so now they're throwing a fit.
Yeah, almost like a spoiled kid, that's how they look at them. It's not that. There's things they can't handle, process, yeah. Like, Hakeem has this habit where everything he sees that he likes, he wants, and he doesn't understand. You can't just take it, or, it's not yours just because you like it. So I got to tell him, no, we're not getting that. We're just getting what we need for the house. So that is a trigger for him, because when he wants something or he likes something, he thinks he can just get it. And I'm trying to teach him, no, and not every time we go somewhere do you need to get something. Because a lot of times we do our shopping. If he does good, I'll reward him with like a Hot Wheel. He really loves Hot Wheels, so I'll use that. But I wait till the very end. And if he doesn't pick, something that I agree to, something small, simple, then he doesn't get it. And sometimes that causes a trigger, but I don't mind it too much, because it's a learning process for him. And the quicker he gets past it, the more progress I feel we've made, you know. If it lasts for a while, then I feel like he struggled too much, and it wasn't a very good process, in my opinion. So I try to work with him out in public now, even though I know it's going to be hard for me and him. It may cause scenes, it may do this, but to me, I don't care, because I'm helping him. And the more I do it, I think the easier it'll be each time we go out.
Yeah, he's not going to get better at it by not doing it.
Yeah.
So, in our kids, they respond very well to more visual cues than audible cues. You know, you can tell them, don't do, you know, I'll tell Lily, you know, put that down, and she'll just look at me, and I'll take it and, like, have her hand put it down. She's like, oh, okay, you know.
Yeah.
Or, you know, sign language. They pick up on sign language really well. I know last year, the teachers use sign language with them a lot. And
That's actually the first communication that Hakeem did first, was the sign language. It'd be like simple words like please, thank you, more.
Hungry.
And then it
like,
seemed
"Really,
like once he learned the sign language word, then he started saying it. He'll learn the sign language first, then he would say the word. And now we've kind of stopped with the sign language, but he talks. It'd be like a few words here and there, but it's something, you know. And yeah,
like I'll be like trying to get Lily's attention. And it's like Lily, and like if I get in front of her and do listen, and she'll be like, oh, okay. It's like, all right, you wanted to say something to me, Mom? Okay.
I know with Lizzie, it's when somebody's trying to talk to her, I'll tell her, all right, turn around, eyes, gotta look with your eyes, and she'll turn around and actually look them in the eyes now. And that's when she'll tell them, okay, bye-bye.
That in itself is a big thing with our kids, because that's always an early warning sign if your kid's autistic, if they never made eye contact. And that was Lily. And the reason why Lily took so long to get diagnosed is because her pediatrician sucked. Having a good pediatrician really helps, because like we were at this one pediatrician, they had a nurse practitioner, and the first nurse practitioner was great. She, you know, cared, she listened, she, you know, she was really great. But then she retired, and they brought in these other guys, and they just didn't care at all. They'd say whatever they could to get you to shut up and get you out the door.
And they didn't even care that your child was screaming, saying, no, don't put the blood pressure cuff on me, because it's distracting, it's hurting, it's this, it's that. The child doesn't know to tell the mom, hey, Mom or Dad, that this thing is really discomforting. They don't know how to say that. So this child is just screaming, and the doctor's like, no, we can do this for a little longer while your child's arm is turning blue.
Yeah, exactly.
It's annoying.
And I brought up, you know, her lack of speech with him. It's like, you know, I think she was like, you know, 2.5 at that point, or 2. And it's like, she still isn't talking. You know, is there something wrong with her? Do we need to get her checked for something? It's like, oh, no, that's normal. That's normal. My kid didn't talk till she's 3. Now she won't shut up. And it's just like, okay, yeah, you don't care. So I went and I found a new pediatrician. And she was like, no, that's not normal. And we are going to get her tested. And like, she like handled it really, really quickly. So having a good pediatrician helps a lot. Because Lily missed a lot of the early intervention stuff because her pediatrician just blew her off.
For me, for a long time, I had to yell at doctors saying, look, why isn't she talking? Just because my nephew didn't talk until he was 4 doesn't mean he's autistic, and he's not. My stepdad's son didn't talk until he was 8. He's not autistic. But there's something wrong with my kid. I know there is. She's banging her head. She's hitting herself with her fists. She's not talking. She doesn't look me in the eye. There is something wrong. I need her tested. Tested for what? Anything.
Aren't you
You're the doctor. It's like, you're the doctor, asshole. What do you want?
You're the one supposed to tell us.
Right?
So getting a doctor to understand that your child is going through something, sometimes difficult, especially when they just want you in and out.
That's what a lot of doctors are nowadays. They only care about that insurance.
And it's not just doctors either. It's family members, too. They take one look at your kid and they're like, oh, what's wrong with it? It.
That's so
wrong.
That's so wrong.
Like, I have an aunt, my mother's sister. She actually asked me, how did Lizzie get autism? Where did she get it from? She was fine as a baby. Like she contracted it from something.
Autism's contagious, apparently.
God.
Like, and then my dad, oh, you need to do this to discipline your child. And I'm like, but Bah, you don't understand. She doesn't understand. How about you sit with her for 30 minutes and let me know what you feel?
Yeah, it's really frustrating when non-autism parents try and give you parenting advice.
Yeah.
As it's like I came up with an analogy about that for one of my friends who was doing that, and I was like, a parent who's not an autistic parent trying to tell an autistic parent how to discipline or what they need to do is like taking a baseball coach and having them use baseball techniques to go coach a football team. It's a completely different game.
Yeah. Or a soccer team.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So, and until you've done it, you're not gonna understand it completely.
Yeah.
But I think there's like nobody who understands their autism kids as much as the mom. I mean, the dad does their best.
Yeah.
But I think because
the mom is the one that's the main patient one.
Yeah. and if it's different for someone out there who's listening, it's like the other way around. I totally get it.
Not everybody.
There's a little bit of both on my side because, Hakeem is the daddy's boy. His dad is actually more patient when it comes to him. I don't know if that's because I deal with the other two most of the time, to where I'm just like straightforward. I want it, I try to have more patience with him now that I know how he is,
Mm-hmm.
But there's certain times like, his triggers will trigger me. And it's like, I got to step back, because...
it's like, we're both going to start screaming right now.
Yeah, we're about to both go through it. So I'll step back, he'll intervene, or, I just take a moment to myself and try again.
And, Mark, bless his heart, he really tries. He really does. But he even told me one time, he was really upset. He's like, it frustrates me. This is Mark talking. He said, it frustrates me that I'm, like, struggling to help her, and you just come in and know exactly what to do and defuse the situation. It's like, well, honey... You only spend like a couple hours with her at the end of the day. I'm with her all day long.
We've had time to learn them.
So I know I can read what she's about to do and know how to handle it. And that's another thing we train ourselves to do is to read their body language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
body language,
communication
sounds, anything, even farting. I'm just saying, even farting, we listen, we feel, we look, we know everything there is about our kids.
Yeah. I've never kept track of how much a person poops in my life.
Until you had a kid.
Until I had Lily. Because it's like, you didn't poop today, you have to poop tomorrow or else you're getting that laxative. Because constipation's so common in them.
Especially because their diets aren't proper. They have a sensory issue with their tongue and mouth.
Oh, yeah.
They have their desired foods. My daughter, she likes chicken nuggets and cookies.
Yeah, my daughter has to have crunchy things. And, it became like really aware how much her sensory processing bothered, like how extreme it was for her, like just recently, because we went on the cruise and I forgot to take her toothpaste. Her toothpaste is like a fruity toothpaste, for kids.
Bubblegum or fruit punch or whatever.
It's like mixed fruit or something like that. No, it was watermelon. It had cocoa melon on it, but I forgot it. So I was like, okay, well, I'll try our toothpaste. I put the tiniest smear of toothpaste. Like, it barely made the brushes turn blue. It's like there was like none on there, and I was like, okay, we're gonna try. And like I started brushing, and she threw up.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, okay, we're just brushing with water while we're here.
That's my daughter, too, because, like, a minty flavored toothpaste, she will gag. It's the flavor.
Yeah, it's too intense for them. They can't handle it.
Hakeem, it's not the toothpaste or the toothbrush, it's just he doesn't like to do it, period. So I'll brush it for him as he's whining the entire time. And he'll go through it, like the second I'm done brushing, okay, he's fine. He'll rinse his mouth, and we do the mouthwash, and I count to 20, and I got to seriously block him from the sink like this. He can't spit it out sooner than the 20 seconds. But it's like the brushing is the one thing he hates the most. And I honestly don't think it has anything to do with toothpaste or anything. He just doesn't like it, period.
Lily, we're trying to get her to try and do it on her own more because, we used to do it for her. Then we have to, coach her. It's like, okay, do this side, now do that side, now do the fronts and bottoms and stuff. So we're trying to get her to do it more independently, but she'll try and be sneaky. She'll just be like, brush, 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 done. It's like,
Yeah, no,
My other two.
It's like, I gotta sit there and watch her, make sure she actually brushes effectively.
Yeah, I started Lizzie with the little banana toothbrush that the dentist gave, and she did it perfectly fine. Then I got her own toothbrush when her back teeth started coming in really nicely, and she started brushing it on her own. I was like,
Yay! Mom moment.
and then as soon as she was getting older, she started getting lazier with it, which every
that's normal
child
kid
does that. So I sometimes brush her teeth for her, but for her to know how to brush her teeth, I gave her a toothbrush as a toy.
That's a good idea. I remember you telling me a story about what she did with that toothbrush.
Things you never think that a person would say.
We have those all the time. It's like, now another edition for things you never thought you were going to have to say in life.
Only autism moms.
Right. The worst one that I had to deal with Hakeem was don't eat broken glass. Never thought I'd have to say that. You know? I don't even know why he did it. Thankfully, his mouth was fine.
The story that she's talking about is when Lizzie would
I didn't know if you wanted to tell that story.
I'll tell it. I don't mind. I actually gave her a toothbrush to play with in the shower, and I would walk in, and she would have it. I looked at her, and I asked her, again, things you didn't expect that you were ever going to say. I asked her, why is there a toothbrush in your crack? And she would just waggle it like a tail.
You're trying not to laugh because you don't want them to do it again. Right? Because if you laugh at what they do, they're going to think, oh, okay, I did something
Exactly. Honestly, that is my favorite story, but it's hard because if you tell that to a stranger or something, they're like, oh my god, she was putting things, maybe she was, violated, or no, she wasn't. She was literally just sticking it in the crack, not up.
Yeah. It was almost like she was trying to give herself a tail.
Yes, exactly.
Kids will use anything at this point to create tails, or other little props. And my kids used to use the belt. They put it around them and then hang it through the back and then waggle it.
Lily, she goes sensory seeking when it's time for bath time because that girl can get naked so fast. It's like, I'll start the water for the bath. I'm like testing it to test the temperature. I turn around, she's standing behind me naked. It's like, how did you get naked so fast? But she loves to just run around the house naked. I think all kids do at some point. But
mine still goes around in a diaper.
But she likes to sensory seek, so she'll go and find the soft, fuzzy blankets, and she'll just wrap herself up in them and then run around. And it's like, why are you in our bed with your naked butt? Get out and go get in your bed with your naked butt. It's like, that's how she experiences.
My kids are the opposite when it comes to getting ready for showers and stuff. You have to constantly keep saying, come on, get out your stuff, get in the shower, let's go.
Yeah, Lily loves her bath time. She loves it. It's hard to get her out sometimes.
That's Lizzie. She loves the water, whether it's the pool or the river. Especially on a rainy day, she don't care. She'll try to jump right in the river.
I always called Lily a water lily because same thing. She's if there's a pool, if there's a bath, she's on it. She used to play with water. She used to take water and pour in one of her little play bowls from her play kitchen, and she'd just pass it down bowl to bowl to bowl. And at first I was like, stop doing that, you're making a huge mess. But it was actually really helping with her hand-eye coordination, because after a while she stopped spilling. So I was like, okay.
I know. Liz, my daughter, she doesn't care. She'll literally pour it on the carpet and then splash it.
He'll go around stealing everybody's water bottles when they're not paying attention. He'll drink half and purposely pour out the other half. And he'll do it anywhere, like the couch, the floor. I walk barefoot, and I'm the only one that does it other than the kids. So when I'm moving around, I find them.
And you're like, I hope that's water.
Oh, God, yes. One of our fears that we've recently picked up is when he goes number 2, on himself. And it's like he moves around as he does it. So every now and then you get pebbles on the floor you find. And we're like, okay. So every time he goes to stinking now, we got to search the floor and make sure there's none on the carpet.
And that's something that people might not know, that when you're trying to teach a child something that doesn't understand what you're saying, it does take longer to potty train.
It really does.
So it's not that, we're being lazy and not trying. God, we were trying.
So hard. I started potty training at a year.
Yeah, and we started trying to do that too, and we didn't know she was autistic at that time. It's like we were trying everything and nothing was working, and it's like watching videos of kids that, had trouble, and it's like, okay, let's try this. It's like, what, screw it. She's going to go when she's going to go.
Yeah.
And so we left her alone and stopped pushing it on her. And it wasn't until she was in kindergarten and she shared a bathroom with the bigger kids. And she saw, hey, they're going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
They're using the potty. I guess I could do too. So her teacher told me she went potty in the toilet at school. And I was like, shut up. And she's like, no, she went in there. She went in the potty. I was like, how did you do that?
That was my reaction when Lizzie was in kindergarten. The same thing. The crappy teacher that Brittany's dealing with now was my daughter's kinder teacher. And at the time, the teacher wasn't there. There was a substitute, so many substitutes. And the only ones that actually did anything were the paras. And I don't know how they did it, but I still to this day give them props for it. But when they told me that she actually went potty in the potty, I was like, how did you do that? Let me know. I need to know these tricks.
Yeah. Yeah, because she would come home and she wouldn't use the potty. I was like, okay, you have it in your mind that this is a school thing. Because I was like, I would try to take her to the potty. It's like, it's just like at school. Just go. And she would not do it. But one day we turned the lights off because I guess the light in the bathroom in her kindergarten class didn't work. So they always turned on the hall light. Mm-hmm. So we turned off the light in the bathroom and we turned on the hall light. And that's what made it click. Oh. It's like sometimes, just you try and you try and you try and you try. And then one day it clicks. And they get it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, thank God. And she's like, used the potty ever since. And it's something I try not to take for granted because it's a huge, huge accomplishment for an autistic kid to use the potty.
For me to get her to use the potty at my house after her miracle at school, I decided to wait until she got home because she holds her bladder. She will hold it throughout the whole day. Too. And as soon as she gets home, she'll use it. But when I was potty training and again, after the miracle happened at school, I was like, I'm going to stick you right on the potty as soon as you get home from school because I know that's exactly when you'll pee. Mm-hmm. Took 3 days and she finally went on the potty out home. It was so exciting.
Oh, I know. And I was like, I know if I could just get her to do it once, I could praise the hell out of her. I could hug her and make her know she did something amazing. Mm-hmm. I just need her to do it once. Yes. And that one time finally happened. And I did. I praised her. I picked her up and swung her around, and, let her know that what she did was good. And that's what it took. For the next 2 months, every time she used the potty, made a little party out of it.
All my kids fought me on that. Every single one. By the time I got to Hakeem, I think I was just exhausted from trying.
I heard it's harder to potty train boys.
Apparently
it
is.
Too.
My oldest, I kid you not, he fought me on it tooth and nail. He would always go under our kitchen table to go number 2. And my mom actually helped me potty train him. And then I moved on to Lamarco, who is Hakeem's twin. I worked with him, and again, he had to fight me on it, and it was a struggle, and it got to the point where I was like, okay, every time he did do it, I'm giving him candy or something, he really wants. And then after a while, when he started to do it more often, I just stopped doing the rewards and realized he just kept doing it on his own. I'm like, yes, I finally got one. And now Hakeem is, he's another one. He doesn't like to use it, and we have to constantly stay on him. He knows how to pee in the toilet. He can do it. It's just he doesn't want to. So we got to constantly stay on him, and it's kind of hard to pick when's the best time to make him go pee, because there's no sign for that when he's got to go or he's already did it. Number 2 has been a challenge because he likes to walk off and kind of hide and do it. So usually by the time you catch up with him, you already smell it. And it's like, darn it, too late. Then there's times like he'll stay in the living room and I catch it. I'm like, oh, toilet, let's go. And there's times, he'll use it and we're like, yay, good job. I'm making a big moment, like you said. And then there's times where he'll sit on the toilet because I'm trying to catch it on time, right? And he'll pass gas. He looks in the toilet. He'll pass gas again. Look in the toilet. And then after a while, he'll be like, done. I'm like, okay, just sit on there a little longer, Make sure
it's like,
go.
as soon as he stands up and you put the diaper back on him, he's going to go.
Exactly. And that's what he did, too, that day. After sitting there for 5-10 minutes passing gas, I was like, okay, he's not ready yet. Put his clothes back on. We left, like, probably a minute or two later, I smell him. I'm like, oh, dude, you were just on the toilet.
We've all had moments like that.
That's the same thing with Lizzie. She likes hiding places, but she doesn't make the pushing face. She doesn't she doesn't grunt. She doesn't do anything like that.
They just kind of stand there.
Or they'll squat in a corner. Or
he
Lizzie.
Rarely squats, yeah.
That's how I knew when Lily was pooping when she was still in diapers. She'd stop. Because the rest of the time, she's just in constant motion. And then she'd stop. And then she'd go again. It's like, okay, let's go change your butt.
I'm glad I got her, pee trained, but we're still working on the poo training, So we still wear pull-ups at home, but when we're out in public, she wears big girl panties.
Hey, you guys are doing better than us, because we still can't even get the pee down. They're like, oh, try putting just underwear. I'm like, yeah, that's not happening. He will purposely go on himself.
That's what I was telling people too. Like, no, she's not doing it until she gets the toilet down.
He used to just pull it out every now and then, and there's been times I think he had did it, but we never caught it. It's just him, like, having it out, like, put your pants on, right?
I'm so grateful that Lily never did what, the horror stories I heard from other moms, where they wake up and they decide to, paint the walls in their room.
Oh, with the Finkel? Yeah.
Yeah, we did have to go to that.
Yeah, we did.
Neither did I.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
I think we both all dodged a bullet on that one.
It's like, Lily, she can go both in the potty, but if she goes number 2, she needs help wiping. She can't wipe herself. And
I wouldn't trust mine to wipe herself.
That's Lizzie. She can't wipe herself either. It
took a long time to get her to wipe the front. For a long time, she was just taking a wad of toilet paper and just shoving it between her legs down into the toilet. It's like, no, that's not wiping, honey. And so I'd have to wipe her and show her how to do it.
That's another thing. Teaching an autistic child potty training, they want to flush the whole roll of toilet paper down the toilet.
Oh my god, yes. Yes. It's like, I'll have like half a roll of toilet paper in there, and like, if Lily's going, I'll ask her. It's like, there's a lot of times she identifies things by colors instead of what they are. So I was like, you going yellow or brown? And she'll be like, I'm going yellow. So it's like, okay, you're fine. You can handle yellow on your own. And then so she'll be in there and she'll be like, Mom, the wipe's gone. I was like, why is the wipe gone? Which means toilet paper ran out. She calls it the wipe. She's like, Mom, the wipe's gone. It's like, how much did you use? I don't know.
Like, I would put a brand new roll on there, and the whole thing would be gone as soon as she'd come into the living room, and she's just smiling at me, jumping around like crazy. Then it's my turn to go to the bathroom. I go in, like, luckily I have like 3 rolls in there, but only one of them that's actually usable at the moment. So I go in there's no roll on the line, and I'm like, why is my toilet clogged?
Oh no.
Or you get the occasional kid wants to flush a toy.
Lily's
toothbrush. Lizzie flushed a toothbrush.
Oh, I think Hakeem did the same.
Lily's never done that, thankfully, but I'm not going to put it past her that she never will try.
I think that might be the mistake I made with the kids when they were little when it came to potty training, because, you know, they go in there and used to play in the water in the toilet and then flush things. So we're constantly telling them, get out of the bathroom. Don't go in there. Don't do that. So it's like, okay, we're not allowed in there. So now we're trying to say, use the toilet.
See, I think sometimes I had the same effect on Lily with food, because when she was, you know, just walking, she'd come up and be like wanting to get into what I was eating. It's like, no, this is mommy's food. You know, you go eat your food. Just knocked Gohan over. You know, go eat your food. This is mommy's food. And so I think she, like, sometimes I'm afraid it's like, no, that food like that is for mommy and daddy. I need to eat this stuff. But when I tried the toothpaste with her the other, you know, while we were on the cruise, it's like, no, it's a sensory thing.
Yeah. With Hakeem, honestly, don't know if it's a sensory thing or not. Him being a boy, it's kind of hard to tell. You know, you're straight up carnivore. You know, hot dogs. Before, he didn't want the bread, just a hot dog. Same with corn dogs. You give him a corn dog, he's peeling the bread, eating the hot dog. You know, breakfast, it's sausage and brownie, which is a hash brown. That's what he calls it.
How cute.
Every morning, that's what he wants. And I kid you not, if you were to do like sausages and pancakes, he eats the sausages and that's it. It don't matter what that other thing is. So I have to tell his dad all the time, make one thing. Don't put no meat on it, because that's the only thing he's going to eat. You know? And, like, these kids, I kid you not, it's like, what, on one hand, two hands, you can count the things they eat. And it's like, oh, they need more of this, fruits, vegetables. They will not eat it. They will seriously starve themselves before they eat that.
Yeah, before we knew Lily was autistic, that's what we were trying, because, you know, we were trying to get her to eat more, you know, solid foods, and she wouldn't do it. And we had that, well, she'll get hungry eventually. But we realized that, you know, it was dinner time and she hadn't eaten anything all day long, so it's like, we got to get food in her somehow.
No,
so
they will seriously starve themselves before they do it. Lamarco is a lot like Hakeem. You know, they like different things, but it's still no fruits, no vegetables. No matter how we try to offer it, it's not happening. And like the doctor we used to have, and she was that way, you know, don't give them this, don't buy the stuff that they want, you know, get this stuff. These kids will go hungry. Lamarco, for instance, you know, when he was still doing his bottles, this was around like 3, 4, you know, he's doing solid foods, and, you know, his milk bottles, because it took a while for that to pass, you know. He went a week straight with just milk bottles. Wow. And it was to the point, like, because he didn't want to eat nothing, even the stuff that he normally would. So we were concerned, you know, but we did the Pediasure, you know, because it has all the nutrients, and he was drinking that. And then we would let him have his regular milk as well. So a whole week he went like that. And then he finally started to eat his food again. And it's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather you eat something than nothing, you know.
Like, Lily has, you know, 5 things that she'll eat.
Yeah. And
she gets sick of them. We have to, like, cycle them out. And we'll have, like, so many things she could choose from. It's like, okay, do you want this, 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 or this? And she'll say, no, thank you. And I was like, no, you need to eat something. Yeah. It's like, and she'll do the same thing. She just won't eat and just, you know, be drinking.
Yeah, that doesn't work with autistic kids, you know. I mean, even with, like, Lamarco, he's not autistic, but, you know, it doesn't work with everybody. Some kids that might, you know, they're like, screw it, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. Other kids, it's like, in their head, no, I'm not touching that.
It's the same thing with Lizzie. I told her doctor, I go, look, if I try to give her any other kind of food, she's not going to eat it. She will starve herself. Yeah. So I need a vitamin supplement that I can give her in the meantime, because she's not getting vegetables. She's not drinking her juices the way she needs to be. Yeah. She's not getting proteins and certain things like that. She needs vitamins. And he's like, oh, I didn't know that. I was like,
I've told
why I'm here
every time.
And so he finally got her on vitamins. And whenever she does starve herself, because she does get tired of foods too, and she will starve herself, I do give I don't give her a Pediasure anymore because she's way too old for that now. But I give her Ensure.
Yeah, I call it Pediasure because that's the one brand that I know, you know. But it's like protein shakes, basically.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, protein shake.
Yeah, that's what we do because Lily, she's lactose intolerant, so we get the almond milk, and we just go to the store, the weight loss aisle, and find, you know, a protein shake mix, and we'll stir that in so she is at least getting some protein, and we crunch up a Flintstone Kids vitamin and put it in her lunch. So lunch tastes a little different, and now she's used to it. But at least she's getting the vitamins and she's getting the protein. So because she's not getting any of that from Ritz crackers and potato chips and veggie straws and stuff like that.
See, I used to make pancakes with the fruit or vegetable baby food mixed into it until my oldest son gave me away, and now they won't eat it. He told the Lamarco, the one that talks, that there was baby food in it, and now I can't get either one of them to eat it. I was like, darn it, I had a good run. They were eating it.
You can still do cakes and cupcakes like that, though.
Oh, make it nice and moist.
Yeah, it really does. It helps.
Like when you put applesauce in a cake instead of oil.
And it's sugar-free.
There you go. See, when you're an autism mom, you find ways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be extra creative and...
Mm-hmm. And all moms really, all kids are stubborn to a point.
Yeah.
But it's even more so, it's cranked up to 11 with autism moms. So you got to be on your toes. You got to be able to creatively come up with.
We have PTSD.
We do.
Straight up.
Every autism parent has PTSD because you've got a child that's going to run away. You've got a child that's going to jump through a window. You've got a child that
runs in traffic.
A child that's going to reach for the knives. A
child that'll eat anything they find.
It's scary.
It's non-stop stress.
Yes.
You can't relax around the kids. Not even at home. It got to the point where we don't go to families' houses. If I do go to my mom's house, I don't take him. Mm-hmm. Because, she's got dogs. I don't want him to set off. She's got things that are breakable. There's, medication in her house. Even though it's put up, kids, trust me, find a way.
They do. They got this superpower that just sucks things that they're not supposed to have.
And she's got a swimming pool in the backyard, so I worry about that. This kid used to be a major flight risk. Every chance he got, bam, he's gone, and he was way faster than us.
Mm-hmm. And I remember waiting to pick him up at school, and I was like, "Oh, there goes Hakeem!"
And you just hear him screaming while he's running,
and three teachers chasing him down.
I actually had to chase him down our street, and it's a busy street. There was cars coming, and all my kids are right behind him, and I'm like, "Crap!" I'm telling the driver, "Slow down, stop something so I can catch him." Mm-hmm. And he would do it all the time. Even if we went to park, dentist, doctor, bam, to the road. And we constantly had to have his hand, and...
Or his shirt, or
anything.
It's constant stress. I'm tense all the time, stressed out all the time, to where this is my normal, this is my life. And people are like, just relax, calm down. I can't.
Yeah,
I don't know how. I stress when we go places. Are they going to do this, that? Are they going to get hurt? I'm constantly watching for everything, trying to make sure nothing happens. And you're always on edge, you know.
And then you worry because, well, me personally, because my daughter is nonverbal. Yeah. I worry about taking her, letting somebody else take care of her.
Exactly.
Because she can't tell me what's happening. She can't tell me how her day was. She can't do any of that. So I get scared.
Yeah.
So I just, instead of going out to a concert that I want to go to, I stay home with her because I'm so scared something's gonna happen.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I'm with them 24/7 unless I'm at the hospital for myself or with another kid, which has happened. So I'm with them 24/7, and I agree. I've had issues with my own family growing up, and so I seriously trust nobody when it comes to my kids, and I couldn't do it. If I were to leave them with anybody, I would be stressed out even more and constantly worried. I could not focus on anything I wanted to do while they were gone.
It's like if I left Lily with anybody other than my mom, I would just be afraid that she would think we dumped her or something like that. I would be more afraid of what she was feeling. It's like, is mom and dad coming back? Why am I with this lady? I don't really know her. No. But that's why my mom is my number one babysitter. Plus, she loves Gigi. She loves Gigi more than me. me and Mark have accepted that Gigi's number one, mommy and daddy are number two. So,
I do have a selected few that I trust to be around my daughter when I do have to go out, like grocery shopping or something like that, because I am not risking another black eye. But there are selected few that I trust with even my life. So I'll ask them if they can watch her, and if they can't, then I'll do shopping online and take her with me in the car and pick it up, and they'll put it in the trunk while I'm still in the car with my kid.
Yeah.
So luckily COVID helped a lot to get that situated. I'm not saying COVID's good, it's not good, but it did help a lot of restaurants and grocery stores come up with pickup and just go.
Better ideas, that were more helpful.
So I do have a selected few that I do let watch her, but the majority of the time nobody's available, and
That's my problem too.
I'm a single mom, so I don't get to go to the fair, I don't get to go to concerts, I don't get to go to movies, I don't get to go eat, I don't get to do none of that unless she's in school.
Same here. Same here. And even then we can't do the movies because they all start late.
11 o'clock.
Certain things start late because they want the families to come, the kids. Like, us parents need morning things.
Yeah, someone asked me once, "Are you going to take Lily to go see the Mario movies?" Like, hell no! I ain't taking her to a theater. I ain't paying theater prices for her to get up scared and run away because it's too loud.
Right.
Besides, Amazon Prime offers, same day theater things.
She's not going to sit still for a movie. No.
Yeah. The constant moving, rocking, how do you call the noise?
Echolalia.
That.
Yeah.
God, talk about a headache every day. I mean, from the time they're up, you hear that noise all the way up until they finally go to sleep. All day long. And it's just like how would you describe that noise?
A vowel, A-E-I-O-U. Ah, eh, ooh, ah.
Really loudly all day long. I don't know why they do it, honestly.
It's stimming.
Yeah.
I would think it would give them a headache,
They don't even know that they're doing it. Some issues with stimming is some of these kids don't even realize they're hitting themselves. They're doing the echolalia. They're pulling their mom's hair. They don't know that they're actually doing it. They just know that, hey, I'm in mom's lap.
Yeah.
Or I'm playing with this toy.
It's like Lily used to, when she stemmed, she'd just lock up. She'd start shaking and just lock up. And I had to explain to her kindergarten teacher, if she does this, she's not having a seizure. She's stemming. They're like, okay, she did that yesterday, and we were wondering.
I've been watching Lizzie get out of school when, the days that she doesn't want to go, and she's starting to do that after school when I pick her up. She's starting...
That's just how Lily stemmed.
You know what? I think Hakeem did that too, not long ago.
Really?
It was a short phase, thankfully.
Your daughter is rubbing off on our kids.
Right?
And she's not even in the same class
I was
as your
wondering
kids
why he was
anymore.
doing that too, because he was just like, and then he'll go back to normal. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
and you just described it.
Was it Hakeem or Lizzie that started laughing like Lily?
Lizzie
Hakeem.
and Hakeem. Lizzie and Hakeem.
Because I heard her doing talking about the Yoshi tattoo, and then Hakeem was doing it. I was like, wait a minute, you sound like Lily now.
And they're not even in the same class anymore, so I don't know. You can't blame me for that one.
Every now and again, I'll hear Lizzie just the way Lily would do it, and I'm just like, oh god.
Oh, our kids.
Right? It's never a dull moment. Like, there's always something going on.
Say it's stressful. Yeah, we're all constantly on edge, but you try and touch that kid, you're gonna die.
Oh, yeah. Shotgun.
And I would not change her for the world.
I wouldn't.
Make her
honestly, I kid you not, that song from Trolls, I See Your True Colors, to me fits him so well, because it's like, ever since he's been diagnosed, because before I was so frustrated because I didn't understand him. I didn't know how to deal with him and, handle things with him until that diagnosis. Once that happened, it's like, okay, I learned about it, I read about it, talked to people about it, and it's like, okay, I know you now. I can understand you now. And certain things with these autism kids, they're so simple, they're so easy in certain ways. They're they get happy over certain things you wouldn't even thought twice about, you know?
Sitting in a laundry basket.
Right? And it's like,
they're not concerned about things that normal kids are concerned about. It's like having the designer clothes or
friends,
things like that. Friends,
phones, electronics. Like, he loves his computer because he can watch videos, but they're real simple in some ways. And
they don't worry about those things because the social interaction they get, they don't have with usually other autistic kids, and they're not judgmental.
No,
because they're all the same.
They do have their difficult moments, but especially when there are moments that you don't understand them.
Yeah.
But when you finally do understand it, you're like, oh, duh.
Right. It's more on the parent than it is the kid, like, oh, okay, I should have knew,
Yeah. It's like every time my daughter, she comes and stares at me in my face, and I'm like, oh, you want a cookie? Go get it.
Yeah, you just learn things. You learn their, just their actions and what they want.
I think the one thing I love most about them is their feelings. Like, when you get those feelings, it's real. Like, when Lizzie looks at you, I kid you not, she has this biggest smile.
Lizzie's smile,
you can see the love on her face for you, and it's like so touching. I'm just like, oh, like, I love it. Like, her smile and everything when she looks at you. I don't see it with anybody else. When she looks at you, that love is there all over her face.
Oh,
even with Hakeem, like Hakeem, he is a daddy's boy. I don't blame him. I have LaMarco. He's the mama's boy, so it happens. Every now and then, he just will come hug me, especially when he gets out of class, and it's just like, yes, and then there's days where I'll be like, Hakeem, hug, no. I'm like,
every now and then, Lily will come sit on my lap, and she'll, like, take my head, turn it to the side, and give me a kiss on my cheek. And it's like, oh! And you want some juice? I'll get you some juice.
Right. And you guys just mentioned that it's a contradiction. Not all autistic kids don't like being touched. Some of them love the hugs. Some of them love the kisses. Yeah. Some of them love the cuddles.
Sometimes they need that pressure to help bring them.
The majority, like for my daughter, the majority of the time, she refuses to even sit next to me. But there are those moments, mostly when she's sick, but there are those moments where she'll just come up to me, climb onto my lap, hurting me, putting her knee in my thigh.
Knees and elbows. Yep. Lily is all knees and elbows. But oh my God.
That's all she wants is cuddles sometimes. Yeah. And that is perfectly okay. And those are the moments that I cherish because I can actually let her sit still while she's on my lap, and I can take pictures with her.
Yeah.
It's not often, but I can actually get pictures with her.
I get the same way. I get those few moments where he'll sit by me all of a sudden, or he'll want to give me a hug, It's always dad this, dad that, A lot of times it's just to mess with somebody, though. He'll sit next to you because he wants to irritate you.
or if they want you to smell their poop or fart.
Oh, yeah. He'll run all around the apartment on that one. And he'll have it everywhere.
Sharing the love.
I'm like, boy, we'll take it over there.
Basking in the ambiance.
Lily's like a cat. She'll just climb up on my lap and be like, put her hair in my face. Is like, okay, all right. Now I'll hug you.
You remind me of something that happened recently with Hakeem. I went in the room. He was hypered, right? And he just wouldn't calm down. So I was like, okay, maybe if I get a book and start reading him stories, I can keep him still long enough for him to mellow out, because kids like to fight it. So I'm sitting on the bed, LaMarco, he's up and down. So as I'm reading, it's just kind of me and Hakeem. And then we wind up, I'm laying like this on his bed. He's laying on me. We're looking at the book.
Aww.
And he kept touching my pocket, right? I'm like, what are you doing? It's my pocket. Leave it alone. I read it, and then he goes like this. And I was like, what you sniffing for? He was like, poop. I was like, what do you mean poop?
Mom doesn't go in her pants like you do.
I was like, did you poop? He's like, no. I was like, you better not have. You laying on me talking about poop.
Oh, man. Yesterday, Lily, I was telling her about it. I think it was before you got here. Lily's therapist was sitting on the couch, and she was like, Lily was right next to her, but she was standing up looking out the window. So her butt is like right on level with her therapist's face. And she let one go. And she was like, really? She's like, Lily, do you need to use the potty? No. I was like, no, you can't ask her. Lily, go use the potty.
Like that day Hakeem tried to do this, it was hilarious. He tried to go in Kanan's room because Kanan and Lamarca were in there on their computers, right? He tried to go in there to let out a fart and run out.
He crop dusts.
Boys are disgusting, I'm telling you. They fart and laugh about it. They'll fart in each other's face. I'm like, dude, you guys stop it.
It's a boy thing. Farts are funny.
Man, burps. Like, they'll try to burp, it's...
There have been times where Lily has let out such a big fart that she will laugh at herself.
Lizzie, whenever she makes a fart that you can actually hear, she just looks at me like, what was that?
It's like when a dog farts and it's like, what was that?
They all looking at me like, did that just come out of me?
Lily actually woke herself up once from her farts.
Oh, I remember that story.
It's it woke me up because I always have the baby monitor next to my bed because she doesn't always know to get up and use the potty in the middle of the night if she needs to. I have to she usually starts rolling around. I have to read her body language. Okay, she's got to pee. Let's go get her. And so I've got the baby monitor right next to my face so it could wake me up if it needs to. And I just hear this loud. And I look at the baby monitor and she's looking around like. And she kind of just shrugs and goes back to sleep. It's like, dang, girl. It's like you haven't eaten anything different. You eat the same thing every day.
My oldest, I kid you not, everything he does leads to a fart. He could bend down, fart, sit, fart, stand up, fart. It's like, dude, take your butt in your room.
Yeah, farts are funny.
I feel like that should be on a shirt, or it is already.
I made a shirt when I was younger, back when I was a teenager. Just Sharpie on a blank white shirt. It said "Girls fart too."
Love it.
Right? And I'd wear it, and people were like, "Yeah, right? Come on." It's not just guys.
Right.
I always, whenever my dad or my brothers, they start getting pissy for no reason, I'm like, oh, it's that time of month, huh?
That always bugs me. That bugs me so much. It's like, what? A girl just can't be pissed off that you're being a jerk without being a time of the month? It's like, not my fault, it's your fault.
No, I literally tell my dad or my brothers, oh, it's that time of month, that's why you're mad at me. Okay, got it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, men can have periods, too. They're just
don't
bleed from the same crevices that we do.
They bleed from the wounds we give them.
Exactly.
Right.
That's why I'm single. No.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and wrap this up. But yeah, one piece of advice: don't piss off an autism mom.
Especially the moms of chaos.
Especially the moms of chaos.
Yeah, because jail's not a punishment, that's a vacation.
Yeah. A padded cell for 72 hours sounds amazing right now.
Free meals, no dishes.
A nice jacket where I hug myself. It sounds great.
Right?
Sounds great. But we know we can't because, who's going to take care of our kids? So
Exactly.
No one's going to love our kids like we do.
No. And these kids need a lot of love and they need a lot of understanding. And if we helped you understand autistic kids, or not just autistic kids, any kid that has a disability, life is so much harder for them. You will never, ever know. We know life is harder for our kids, but we don't know the full extent of it because we're not going through the same thing they do. But, you never know what's happening beneath the surface. So it's so much easier to just keep your mouth shut and keep your thoughts to yourself instead of opening your mouth and putting your foot in it.
But if you are curious about it, you can ask. Some of us are actually nice and willing to educate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if, there's websites you can look up and find out more about autistic kids and but like we said, no kid is the same. So what works for your guys' kid isn't going to work for my kid, and vice versa.
And just because you see a kid having a fit doesn't mean they're spoiled or, they're being mistreated. There's a lot of reasons a kid could act a certain way. So if you're actually really concerned,
talk to the parent.
If anything, you might be the help that they were looking for or needed at that moment, because they could have a kid that's, special, and they could be struggling. And when everybody looks and goes to judging, it breaks them down to the point it makes it harder to deal with their kid and calming their kid down.
Or or the people, like my daughter, she used to get bruises on her forehead constantly. So whenever I took her out in public, they would look at me thinking I was the one causing those injuries. So the judgment is not appreciated at all.
It's never good to judge somebody, let alone a child that you don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah. And understand, too, that autistic kids don't always know how to interact with people or other kids. I've actually had an incident recently where a family got real aggressive with us at McDonald's because our son grabbed their kid, I guess, in a rough kind of way. And they were so up there, we could not explain to them, he is autistic. He doesn't understand how to play with kids because this is the first time he's actually done it around us, and that's all he's trying to do is play. He just doesn't know how to do it correctly. And so we were unable to get it resolved the right way. We kind of just stayed away from each other. We waited for the food to get done and we left, and it was disappointing because this is kids you're talking about. There was no need to take it to that level. There was no reason to. And then you wouldn't let us explain, He can't talk. We're his voice. I wanted to explain, what he was trying to do, and I wasn't given that opportunity. So I'm hoping more people will actually learn about this and be more patient and understanding and talk to the parents. Yeah. If you really want to know what's going on, talk. A lot of times,
be willing to listen.
And listen, and you'll be more understanding. Be like, okay, I was upset about this, or I was worried they're being mistreated, but now after speaking with you, I can understand now. Okay, that's all. Talk, because a lot of times we are happy to explain it because we get tired of the looks. Ask if you're really concerned and think something. Get the information instead of just keeping the assumptions or talking to someone else, assuming this, assuming that.
You don't know everything.
Yeah.
So you have no right to judge.
Exactly.
So, well, I thank you, ladies, for coming on and doing this episode with me. And I, maybe we could do it again. Just tell funny stories.
Yeah.
we have endless funny stories. So thank you for coming today, and thank you for listening. Not sure what our next episode will be, so tune in and find out. So, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.